Hi, this is Dan's show on the tube. We're going to be reviewing the NXT on CW show from December the 10th of 2024. So let's get to it. There was a lot of action tonight, and as well as the perpetrator of the attack on Eddie Thorpe at the pay-per-view has been revealed. Julia started off the show stating that she was the Iron Survivor. Before she got much further than that, Roxanne Perez came out and began talking trash, shortly after which Cora Jade came out and said that no one would need to know who it was that attacked her being Stephanie Vaquer, who they showed in the back being attended to by staff. Then Cora and Roxanne went to attack Julia, and Kalani Jordan come out to even up the odds and make the match, make what would become the main event for the show. Backstage, Tony D'Angelo offered Ethan Page a match for the North American Championship. Ethan Page said that the North American Championship was below him and he did not need nor deserve to have that particular match. So Tony D'Angelo offered up a open challenge for the North American title, and once he did that, Ethan Page stood up rather quickly and accepted the match with Tony D'Angelo, and it was set for later on in the show for the North American title. Next, Lexis King talked to Charlie Dempsey about getting another shot for the Heritage Cup. Charlie Dempsey said that he didn't know that Lexis was ready for another shot yet, that he would have to consider it, and he would come back to him at a later point. After that, the OTM come out and began talking trash on the No Quarter Catch crew and how they all failed at their goals at the pay-per-view by all being defeated. After all of that, we finally had our first full match of the evening, and it was Javon Evans versus Wes Lee. Decent little match. Javon Evans won with a corkscrew splash, pinned Wes Lee cleanly. Next, Tyson DuPont and his partner Tyreek, I couldn't even remotely get out the last name properly, went against Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. The team of Hank and Tank won with a slam spear combination. Afterwards, Tyson and Tyreek showed more of an advancement towards the heel side of things in the story. When it was time to congratulate the winners, they kind of blew them off. Next was a promo by Obafemi. He come out and said he was once again the ruler of NXT by winning the Iron Survivor Challenge. After he came out, Trick came out and started talking with Oba, and Oba basically told Trick the only reason he was champ and had been champ for so long was because Oba had allowed it to be. After this, Eddie Thorpe come out and began arguing with Oba, accusing him of attacking him. Oba never said he didn't attack him, but he also asked if he saw who attacked him. And Eddie Thorpe said no, he was attacked from behind, so he had no clue who it was, but he had never been hit by someone so powerful, thus assuming it was Oba. Oba will be facing Trick at the New Year's Evil show for the NXT title. I'm really looking at Obafemi to win that match. Between call-ups for the Rumble and call-ups for the new Netflix Raw. I'm really thinking, with the way everything's getting shuffled around, that Trick is probably ready for the main roster. I personally would put him on SmackDown and let him work with Carmelo some. Let them continue that NXT feud. I don't know where you stick him if you put him on Raw. So I really think that SmackDown would be the right move for him. Either way, I believe Trick will be on the main roster next year at some point in time. Next week, Trick Williams will face Eddie Thorpe. That was discussed during the match, and Trick laid out Eddie Thorpe after the discussion was had. Next was Tatum Pack and Gigi Dolan versus JC Jane and Jasmine Nix of Fatal Influence. Fatal Influence won the match with a rolling encore on Tatum Paxley. A post-match attack was stopped by a returning Shotzi. Shotzi finally come back and cleared the ring of Fatal Influence and helped Gigi and Tatum clear everybody out after the match. Shotzi's got the long hair again. I think she's back and ready for a fresh start. Being a third to go against Fatal Influence is a good way to kind of get the ball rolling for her again and get her back on the roster. I would even think she could possibly be a top contender to take out Fallon Henley and get the North American title for the women. Also, I noticed Fallon Henley today was dressed less like a Wish version of Daisy Duke and wore more or less like a red bra and black leather pants. It was a different look, and it disassociated her from the older character, which is something I said that she's needed for a while now. Nathan Frazier and Axiom both were talking about what they needed to do next, and both said they were going to speak to Ava to get the next step figured out in their plans. When they got back together, they found out that Axiom now, after Nathan Frazier had to do double duty the other day at the pay-per-view, Axiom will be doing double duty next week, as he will be taking on Obafemi, because Axiom asked for the match because he felt that Nathan Frazier, his tag partner, had basically been abused by Oba in the Iron Survivor match. So he wanted to take on Oba to defend his friend. And at the same time, Nathan Frazier got them a tag title match, again, also next week against Gallus. I could see this being the thing that breaks the team up. And also, I think it would be a good start to give Gallus the tag titles and maybe kind of help that cluster of tag teams in NXT to get new, fresh matches and to stand out. Sometimes just something as simple as changing the champion can reinvigorate an entire division, and I think it's time for that, and Gallus could be that team. Next up, Ethan Page fought Tony D'Angelo, and Tony D won with a spine buster. He pinned Ethan clean in the middle of the ring with no outside interference whatsoever, and I would definitely put that up at the top of the list of big wins for Tony D'Angelo. He's another guy who I could see in the next year being on the main roster. I think his issues are more getting the family to a main roster level characters in a story. Former first-round pick in the NFL draft, Ryan Leaf, was backstage talking to Lexis King, and Lexis King had explained to him that he felt that Ryan Leaf had kind of took what was a miserable NFL career and has turned it around by being a college commentator for the CW for football. And Ryan Leaf told Lexis that he felt that Lexis was trying to do big things on his own and step out of his father's shadow and become somebody. During that time, Charlie Dempsey came out and agreed to give Lexis another shot at the Heritage Cup if he would work out with Charlie Dempsey and the No Quarter Catch crew. I think that's a setup by the NQCC for Lexis, which is a shame because Lexis King is someone who I can see a lot of his dad in him, and I really feel like he could be a great superstar if given the ability. AEW dropped the ball with Brian Pillman Jr. Let's be honest. WWE isn't doing much more with him. They gave him a better gimmick. They gave him a nice start, but he's not winning as consistently as someone in his position on the card needs to. It was also announced that Zarya and Soruka will be going against the Meta Girls, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend next week. I had thought Lash and Jakara had moved up to the main roster, but I guess that was kind of a one-time trial thing, and give them a couple of matches and see where they go. I think Lash is actually ready for the main roster and could be a good foil in anything involving Bianca and Jade. Jakara Jackson, her work on the mic and in the ring hasn't impressed me enough that I feel that she's in line for a main roster spot. So I think it's a little early for her. I feel like Zarya is nearly main roster ready. She's got a good character. She could use some mic work, but I think her character has been really well fleshed out, and I think her in-ring work is definitely good enough to be on the main roster. Her mic work could use some touching up, but that's going to come in time. Soruka, I have been impressed by some of what she does in the ring. I don't like her look. The Surfer Girl character doesn't jive with me with her. I don't imagine her when she's not at WWE events at the beach surfing. She just, I don't know, doesn't have that look to me. Now it's time for the main event. We had Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez versus Julia and Kalani Jordan. During the match, Roxanne and Julia fought to the back, and that left Kalani out with Cora Jade. Before they fought their way to the back, Roxanne hit a illegal pop rocks on Kalani outside the ring, and when Kalani come into the ring, she walked right into a double arm DDT from Cora Jade, who finished off the match. Really, Kalani Jordan has improved, but I don't really feel like she's as standout as WWE has pushed her. Cora Jade is a star. but I think she lacks something as far as her look. I don't know if she needs to put on 5 or 10 pounds and gain a little more mass to be more intimidating looking, or because if she gets to the main roster, I don't see her looking physically in a position where she can compete with Bianca or Jade Cargill or Rhea Ripley or Nia Jax, or in reality, even a Tiffany Stratton, I think is a much larger, more physical presence than Cora Jade. Roxanne Perez is extremely small, and I don't feel like she can compete with the bigger girls yet either. I think she's going to need some work and some time to get where she needs to be. Cora Jade may be on the main roster before year's end, but I don't know. Julia, I would almost guarantee will be on the main roster by year's end. NXT's women's roster is absolutely amazing. They've done a wonderful job building it up. They've got some standouts, but the standouts like Julia, Stephanie Bricker, Zarya, Cora, those four are really miles ahead of the rest of the female roster, although there are other girls on the roster who are quite good. But I think once you get to that top of the roster, there's a pretty significant drop-off between your main event girls and your mid-card girls and your lower-card girls. And I think that's really defined in that particular division. Finally, the show ended with Eddie Thorpe signing the contract for the match with Trick next week, and he admitted at the time that no one had attacked him backstage, that he had took the fall to protect himself and his own interests. This way, he got a title match without having to participate in the Iron Survivor Challenge. That's it for your NXT review. I think it was a really decent show. There are some things that could have been better, but overall it was a great show. We'll see you later today with the news and rumors for the day. Not a whole lot, but one thing I will give you as a little snippet. PWI has named their top 100 tag teams, and I'm going to reveal the top 5 during that particular show. So thanks, have a good day, and we'll see you later. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Also, leave a comment below on what match you'd like to see for the watch along on Monday. We're going to be doing either Hulk Hogan versus Andre from WrestleMania 3, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 12, or the 1992 Royal Rumble. Put your votes in either on here or on our YouTube page, or you can send me a text at danceshowonthetube@gmail.com. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye.